How's it going, all you mentees? Uncanny Omar here from Near Mint Condition, the home of collected editions. So, join me today for my overview of the Batman Who Laughs Deluxe Edition from DC Comics. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so what we're looking at here is the latest Deluxe Edition from DC Comics, and we're looking at the Batman Who Laughs, who was a character that first appeared in the DC Metal crossover, and became super popular overnight. I mean, there were statues of the character, toys of the character, and for a while he was everywhere. And this is a deluxe edition. This has been released already in standard size trade paperbacks and hardcovers and of course single issues. So the deluxe editions, for the people new to collecting, are as tall as Omnis, both from DC and from Marvel. Of course, they're not as thick because they don't really contain that much, or usually don't contain that much. Sometimes it gets a little crazy. I've done a video on the channel on the different collected editions, but here it is compared to the spine of an omnibus. So let's go ahead and leave that up there. The Batman Who Laughs, the Deluxe Edition, Snyder, Jock, DC. And the design in the back by Jock. I'm not sure if you can tell, but some of the Haas are a little faded out. They feel like they have a glossy finish to them. A little bit about the creators and the book. And then the ISBN down there. Retail price being $39.99. So let's take it back to the front here with this piece by Jock. It's very simple. That is the character of the Batman Who Laughs right there. And I do like the logo. It has an old retro feel to it. And then they just kind of add Who Laughs right there. Underneath the dust jacket is the exact same. Actually, no, it's a close-up of this image right here of the Batman Who Laughs. And it's a wraparound image there on the board. And all drawn by Jock. Now, before I get this open, I am going to be talking about the Batman Who Laughs. So, I am going to go into some spoiler territory, mainly talking about the first issue and the setup of this. But I am going to be talking about who it is. Who is the Batman Who Laughs? So, I strongly suggest, if you don't want to know anything, then just jump to where I talk about the build and the extras. And before you do, though, if you've not read Batman by Scott Snyder, either one of the two Omnis, or DC Metals, I strongly suggest reading those. Because this takes place after DC Metals. But the build-up really begins in Batman by Scott Snyder. Both volumes 1 and 2 of the Omnis, and then DC Metal. And then this, and then of course this leads into Batman and Superman, which I'll talk a little bit about here in a second. And then eventually DC Death Metal. Alright, let's crack this open and talk about the Batman Who Laughs. So before I open the book up, I did want to showcase these flaps right here that talk about Scott Snyder and Jock and show off the Man Who Laughs and our Batman looking a little diabolical there. And a big thank you to Organic Price Books for sending us a copy of this deluxe edition. But this is what the internal flaps look like. Alright, so let's go ahead and crack this open. You have that piece by Jock here, and you can see a signature down here. Forgot to point that out earlier. Another interesting artistic piece there by Jock. And the Batman Who Laughs, the deluxe edition. Now, both of these creators have worked on Batman before. As a matter of fact, Jock was the creator that Scott Snyder worked with on Black Mirror, which was his very first work at I want to say DC and Batman. So here we have the credits. You have Scott Snyder, James Tynion working on the Grim Knight, Jock drawing all 7 issues, and Eduardo Risso drawing the Grim Knight, David Barron drawing or coloring all 7 issues, while Dave Stewart colors the Grim Knight one-shot, Sal Cipriano doing the lettering, and then Jock doing the covers. So this does collect all 7 issues of the Batman Who Laughs, and it also contains the one-shot of the Grim Knight. The book has 248 pages. Alright, so moving forward, I am going to be talking about some spoilers, mainly about issue number 1, and of course, the man behind the mask, who is the Batman Who Laughs. And that kind of sets the stage of what happens throughout this miniseries. And this stuff, by the way, not collected in the DC Metal Omnibus, nor has it been, or will it be collected in the DC Metals Omnibus. Kind of fits in between both of those stories. All right, let's open it up. So we kick it off with a flashback right here of a 4-year-old Bruce Wayne talking about his happiest memory. And his happiest memory happens to be of him just laughing with his parents in his backyard and trying to break through their arms that are locked together while Alfred is just, golly gee whiz, happy in the background. Of course, this is an Alfred that was a butler, and that was a happy time for him. He didn't have to be a hacker. He didn't have to be a surgeon. He didn't have to be somebody's psychiatrist. This is when being a butler was just being a butler and living life to its fullest, long before Batman. So that's the memory that Bruce Wayne thinks of being the happiest. And the whole laughing and smiling, that will come back to play all the time, from time to time. You will see it. It's almost in your face about it too much. Then we move to now. So keep in mind this took place back in 2019. So Gotham Now really isn't Gotham Now, because there were some changes that have happened since this book, particularly in Tom King's run on Batman. So this is Gotham of 2019. Batman is in his Bat Raptor, I think this is what this motorcycle is known as. It's not a motorcycle, it's got 3 wheels. What am I talking about? But he's chasing down these group of thieves that, what he finds out, are moving material from Gotham to other cities by pretending they're moving houses. So pretty sneaky. And what he finds out is that they're actually moving dead bodies. So he's trying. It's time for Batman to break up this party. He's got Alfred on the line, and Alfred's like, "All right, be careful, Master Bruce." And Bruce is like, "I got this." So he manages to knock them all out and break inside of one of these houses. And inside of the house, he sees that it's got a body that's stored in there, a dead body. And once in there, he notices that this dead body looks really familiar. It looks like him. It looks like Bruce Wayne. Now, he goes undercover to the Gotham morgue by knocking out the coroner and pretending to be the coroner while still having Alfred on the line, and Alfred's assuring him, like, all right, this is not a clone, this is not some kind of hallucination, that is you, Master Bruce, because he's got the same bruises, he's got the same scars that you do, there's no denying this is you. Now, Bruce has already dealt with the multiverse. The multiverse now is known through a lot of the characters in the DC universe because this takes place after DC Metal. So he's thinking, okay, if this is Bruce Wayne, this is a different Bruce Wayne, because I'm looking at his scars deeper and they look like they stop at a certain time. As a matter of fact, the bruises look like they stopped around the time that Bane broke my back. So this is a Bruce Wayne that probably retired in his timeline. So now he's using the concept of timelines because he knows he's dealing with different dimensions. And he lived on to live a happy life because looking closer, he sees that he was married. He has a daughter. And this is a different Bruce. But why is he dead? So on a closer look, and for some reason the last thing he notices are the lines on his mouth, around his mouth and his eyes. And they're smiling lines. And that reminds him of the Joker. So he's like smiling, laugh lines, this man lived a happy life, take me to the Joker. So the Joker during this time is at Arkham Asylum. Then we see Batman break in Arkham Asylum, take out a bunch of security guards, these poor security guards, and he's taking them out brutally. He is breaking their necks and shooting their brains out. And they're like, wait a minute, Batman doesn't use guns. And he says he does now. And he stops over here with Victor, with Mr. Freeze, and he's like, hey, Batman, what are you doing? This isn't you. Listen to me. The doctors tell me when I lose control that I need to. And he's like, picture this. And he burns him alive. Now, whether Mr. Freeze lives or not, you can find out by reading the book. So who is this Batman? This isn't our Batman. This is a Batman with guns. Well, this will come to play a little bit later when you find out, especially in the one-shot, The Grim Knight. So he's there to see the Joker. And the Joker's like, wait a minute, Bats, what are you doing here? Don't tell me. You're actually here to kill me. And he says, no. And in steps the Batman who laughs, but I am. And he takes his scythe and chunks, I love that word, Joker's head. Like, he kills the Joker, but not really. Because immediately in the next page, you find out that the Joker was just a decoy, because while Batman is 5 steps ahead of the game, the Gotham Police Department have to be 2 steps ahead of the game, at the very least. Since Batman has everything and knows everything that's going to happen, then at least the Gotham Police Department has to be a little bit ahead of the game. So, now Batman knows that the Batman Who Laughs is involved, so it's up to him to find out what exactly is going on. And in the meantime, they're still finding more dead Bruce Waynes from different times in his life. So the Joker's somewhere out there, and of course this is the Joker, he can't stay still. So the Joker goes to the Batcave, and Batman's like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "Hey man, I'm just here to help. You know that he's back. The Batman Who Laughs is back. He wants you dead, he wants me dead, he wants all of this world. But there's only one way to stop him." The way to stop him is what the ending of the first issue is that leads into the rest of the series. So the Joker draws a gun out, and you're like, "What is he doing?" And Batman's like, "What are you doing? You don't need. We gotta work together. You can't just shoot me." And he doesn't. What he ends up doing, for some reason, he owns this gun that just backfires a bullet and shoots himself in the heart. Now, before I go any further, I do need to explain a little bit about the Man Who Laughs, this creature right here. So, and then I'll talk a little bit about the cliffhanger, and then where it leads without going into spoiler territory. The Man Who Laughs is a character from another timeline. He was introduced through the pages of DC Metal, the big crossover, which introduced us to Barbados, I think it's the way I call him, like, the country, but not really sure how people pronounce it. The God of Bat, that released all these different versions of Batman throughout different timelines, and one of them was this one here. And I mentioned this one being the most popular one. Now, there was a one-shot that is not collected in here, by the way, that tells his origin of how he came to be. And how he came to be is Bruce Wayne became Batman, and then he became the Joker. So it's like a mix of, like, Bruce Wayne, Batman's ability to never stop trying, to find out exactly what's going on, to be the best at what he is, while being insane like the Joker. Through here, you find out a little bit more, especially during this scene right here, of exactly how that happened when Batman is telling Commissioner Gordon, "I've always wanted to kill him. I'm always imagining killing the Joker." And Commissioner Gordon's like, "Yeah, so is everybody." But Batman says, "There's one thing that's stopping me. I have a theory that if I kill the Joker, his heart will stop beating, and once it stops beating, it will release this toxin that whoever killed him will become the next Joker." Now, we've seen that theory later on I've seen that theory before, right? Like, this kind of a little bit of the premise of the Return of the Joker, the movie. But in here, it's a little bit different because he really believes that theory to be true. So, of course, I'm like, well, why don't you just snipe the Joker from, like, far away? Then the toxins are released where? In the air? Come on, Batman. You're Batman. You can figure this out. But I get it, right? It's not too in your face about it, but they really do want to hammer in the idea that that's how he became Batman, or Joker. That's how the Man Who Laughs became who he is. The Batman from that timeline killed the Joker, the heart stopped beating, released the toxins, and he became the new Joker. Now, it's not like the Joker's soul or his spirit went into the body, but it's pretty much the Joker toxins. So, kind of carrying on the tradition of the Joker. So he says, "I don't want to do that." Now, what the Man Who Laughs is doing with the Grim Knight, and what they're doing together with the dead Bruce Waynes from different timelines, you can find out for yourself, because that is all part of the plan, and it's up to Bruce to stop it. Now, back to this. So the Joker says there's only one way to stop him, and you know how that has to be. Shoots himself and releases those toxins, making our Batman, I say our Batman like I'm in this world, the Man Who Laughs, or maybe on his way to become the Man Who Laughs. And that's what the rest of the series focuses on. The ability to control this madness in him while trying to stop this creature known as the Man Who Laughs. And that's really the big question. Like, what is the Man Who Laughs' goal? Where's this going? And who is the Grim Knight? So let's talk about that. So the Grim Knight has a one-shot collected in here. This is the one that's drawn by Eduardo Rizzo. And I love the way that this is done because Eduardo Rizzo's artwork is here in the present time where the Grim Knight has captured Commissioner Gordon. And he has his flashback of his own timeline where his parents get killed, but instead he takes the gun and kills the killer. Kind of almost like becoming the Punisher Batman, if you will. And I love the way that this looks because those flashbacks are done in this kind of painted style. Big fan of Eduardo Rizzo, so I really appreciate when he's doing different things with his art. I already love his art enough, but it's really cool to go back. I love these familiar scenes from year one instead of like being inspired by the bat. For some reason, he shoots it. So he's a little bit insane. And that's the guy, that is the Batman from another timeline that was not in DC Metals that is helping out the Batman Who Laughs. Now, that's pretty much all I will say about this series right here. Now, whether the Joker is really dead, whether Batman, our Batman, really becomes the Batman Who Laughs, who ends up really helping them out, what is the goal of the Batman Who Laughs, you can find out for yourself. There's a lot of twists and turns in here. Some of them are a little bit rolling your eyes in the back of your head, like, what, how is, come on, really? And then some of it is really fun. Now, the story does continue into Batman and Superman, or Batman-Superman, who are the Secret Six. So that is something to keep in mind. Even though this resolves really nice and tight, the story of the Batman Who Laughs goes into who are the Secret Six. I believe that one's written by Joshua Williamson, if I'm not mistaken. So, let's welcome everybody else back and look at the back matter. Alright, welcome everybody that did not want any kind of spoilers, but doesn't mind looking at the extras. And most of the extras in here are variant covers for mainly issue number 1. This book has 248 pages, and about 30 plus pages of it is variant covers. And a lot of the variant covers are homage covers too, like this one here. From the Harley Quinn one-shot. But homage covers that only feature, or mainly feature, the Man Who Laughs. Now, we'll say something, that it is a beautiful piece by Tyler Kirkman. I thought this was a toy at first. I will say something that, don't let the covers make you think that, oh, that's what's going to happen inside of the comic, because there's a lot of this covers that do not make it into the comic at all. That's all I will say. So, there's nothing really spoilerish here. I mean, if you know who the Man Who Laughs is, or about him at least, then you probably aren't going to be spoiled by any of this. This just showcases this crazy character. Again, a lot of it being homages to classic covers. You have Mad Love there. This is Hush. Some Harley Quinn covers. Batman Year 2 even gets something in there. Some really awesome covers. Then you have some concept artwork right here and character designs. This is the Grim Knight. You have layouts and thumbnails and ideas for the covers. Like this is the Batman Who Laughs number 2. And you have thumbnail sketches right here. So these are the layouts for what will become eventually the comic book pages. Unused cover inks right here. And cover inks for the Batman Who Laughs 1, 2, 6, and 7. Internal artwork right here of just inked pages. And then your end sheets. Now, let's take a look at this binding together really quick. So, the book has glued binding, and it does have this matte paper, but it's not as slick as the Wonder Woman Deluxe Edition that I did an overview of yesterday. It has a little rough finish to it. Not really sure what that is. Looks like you getting some of the pages wrinkled towards the front, but it doesn't last very long. It's just a few of the pages. As far as the gutter loss, you are going to get some because it is glued binding, so you can see right here. Very minimal. Not that there's a lot of spread pages, but there are some in here. But that's it. That, as they say, is that. If you're interested in purchasing this deluxe edition, don't forget to check out our sponsors.
If you're in Europe and you're interested in buying these books, definitely check out Walt's Comic Shop in Berlin, Germany. They have the cheapest pre-order prices, flat shipping rate of €12 for all EU countries, emails answered within 24 hours, waltscomicshop.com, and you can use the code Near Mint Condition at checkout and get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order over €40. That's Walt's Comic Shop, your reliable source for omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. Ding!
CheapGraphicNovels.com, your online home for graphic novels and collected editions up to 50% off cover price. They have excellent shipping and prompt and helpful service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And don't forget that CGN also takes pre-orders. That way you don't miss out on the hottest releases. And they are currently running a special promotion for you Minties. If you're a first-time customer, after receiving your order confirmation email, reply back to that email and let them know near mint condition sent you their way. They will then apply a free shipping promotional credit to your next order in the US. Cheap Graphic Novels, your source for the hottest books with the kind of deep discount, quality shipping, and customer service that will keep you coming back for more. And that was the content, the page count, and build of this deluxe. Let me know in the comments down below if you already own the story in, well, single issues or in trade paperback or in standard size hardcover, if you're upgrading to the deluxe edition, if you're hoping one day all of the Batman Who Laughs will be collected in its own big collection, an omnibus maybe. I don't know, I'm sure there's plenty of stories to be told to fill that big book up. If you have any questions, don't forget to leave your questions down below in the comments section. Don't forget to smash that like button, subscribe, and ring that bell for notifications. That lets you know when our videos are going live, and we do have videos every day. And, more importantly, all of you stay healthy and safe out there. Much love.